First outing with the Nova, 2026. How'd it go? Well, it went pretty good. I'm sure all you guys are dying to see a bunch of videos, and I wish that I had more. What I got's what I got. So, my dad came up and helped me. We had a couple people stop by. Thank you for the support. It's awesome. There was a lot for my dad to do. Back me up, set my wheelie bars, record me, push me up, check my tire pressure. And it was just hard to get a bunch of video footage. So we went to Westcoast Shootout at Woodburn, Oregon, and track's green like it rained last week. It was a beautiful day. There was a really good turnout, and it was oil down city. Nothing making you miss the racetrack. Like, I don't know, there was probably 3 to 4 hours of cleanup spread throughout the day. So we're going to go over some data. We're going to go over some time slips. Let's get into it. So I'm 657 here. We went 106 to the 60 right off the trailer. So this is against Miles and his Integra here for the first tester of the day.
Gamecock, well, out of Albany, Oregon, 73 Beautiful burnout.
Now 330 is pretty slow, 292, and we went 446 at 158. So I put on traction control in my tune-up, and this purple line's timing pole. So not only did this thing struggle to get to the chip, because that's not the chip, that's 3,800. So we're missing a bunch of RPM, and then it was slowly making boost. You can see up here, 11.7. And then this, and this RPM fluctuation is timing retard coming in. So we're going to come up here. And you can see the TPS. So I take my foot off the gas because it's misfiring in here. It's loaded up. And then we come out here and I'm off the gas again. In 3.3 seconds. 3.2 seconds. Okay. So if we go to our traction ICF here, we look at our drive shaft. We overran this thing. Now this drive shaft curve is, I don't know, a 25, a 425. Well, I put a 456 gear in here. So it's accelerating faster earlier. This blue line right here, it's pulling 5 degrees. What's retard? B. 20 degrees. So let's look here. So we're at 34 for ignition timing. And then this thing starts pulling it down. It's making 32.5 pounds of boost here. And it's getting pulled down, I don't know, 17. So my foot comes off the gas because I haven't run traction control in a long time. And like my little short about the Pro 600, I feel like this is loading up on a timing retard, and I think that Pro 600 is going to fix that. See the RPMs all over the place. Anyway, and then it pulled it again right at the shift. So kind of a junk pass. So what I did is I went back to the trailer and I moved my traction control stuff up out of the way. Let me show you that and the next pass. Okay, it's worth noting, this was a quarter-mile race, and we went number one qualifier with a 7:38 with a 4 at 139 miles an hour. Okay, so then it was Oil Down City. So as it's progressing in the day, that pass was at 12 o'clock. We had problems spooling, and it was like negative 200 foot of air, which is just ridiculous. Awesome for where we are. So I was like, well, I'll put a little fuel in it. I think it was a little lean, and maybe it didn't have enough fuel to get to the chip. So I made the change that moved the drive shaft RPM up. Well, we're supposed to have another qualifier, and I figured it's so late in the day, there's so many cars that they're going to push us, and we are not going to be able to get this race off. And if they do finish it, which they did, we're going to get horribly rushed. And I was right. So I'm glad I didn't make that other qualifier, because there's no way I could have cooled my stuff down. So, round number one. Round number one. So traction control moved up just a little bit. We went 104. We went 286. Now we're starting to get somewhere. Okay. And again, I'm not super concerned about the back half, because I mostly just wanted to test everything, make sure the trailer's working right. So the little bit of fuel got me to the chip. We're making 19.7. It did take a little while, 5.7 seconds, 5.5 seconds. So again, ran into traction control. Again. Pulling down to 20 degrees. Misfiring. Getting off the gas. Spiking the tire at the shift again. Pulling timing. Off the gas at 4.2 seconds. So we almost made a full rip. And yeah. So I go and I move this again. Because I was the number one qualifier, there were 6 cars in our bracket. I got a bye into the finals, which was awesome because I used that entire time to cool my car off. And I move the traction control out of the way. I go up, and it's a little bit of a shit show. The car like pushes through. I broke a wheelie bar bracket in the past before, which whatever. And I go up. The car kind of pushes through on the trans brake. I'm not getting to the boost. The tree drops. Super late on the light. And the guy we had in the finals was running 730s. So he had a pretty decent hot rod, like a bracket car. And he actually won the event last year. But anyway, car is just slow. And I'll show you guys the time slip here in a second. Car's slow. And I get down to the end. I ended up clipping him, winning. My dad comes to pick me up and hooks up to the golf cart. And the car like won't hardly move. Like it about ripped the whole mount for the push bar off of the golf cart. I'm like, that's weird. I noticed the brake pedal was super firm when I was in the shutdown. Usually I have to pump it once and it firms right up, but it was really, really hard. So I grab it with my hand and pull it up and we start moving. Okay. So I get back to the pit and I find this. This is my master cylinder. This is a tandem mount. The nut is missing on this side. And when I pushed in, this thing had slid over and caught on this piece of tubing. So the brake pedal was about that far depressed. And it had relaxed this side because it's allowed to pivot. So it wasn't holding the back brakes on. But the front brakes, I was kind of all over the racetrack. I believe the front brakes were engaged the entire pass. So that is not supposed to do that. So anyway, That's exciting. All right, look at this gem. 111, 447, 161. Dude, 300 on the tree. Brutal. But I clipped him. 1699. And check out this log. So 6.2. Got to about 13 pounds when I left the button. Actually, we can tell exactly. Anyway, boost time. 13.5 pounds. So we got to 13.5 pounds at 4,300. Yikes. See how this is all broke up? We have a timing pull here. Like the RPM looks perfectly smooth until we get to that. And then timing pull at the shift. And you could tell the track out here was a little green. So I'm off the gas. This is the blue line. 21% throttle. Paddle, 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 paddle. Paddle, paddle, paddle. So I have all the timing retards turned off out here because I didn't know what it was going to do. And I figured I could just drive it. But yeah. Nice and slow. But that throttle paddle tail is horrible. And off the gas at 5.76. All right, so this is the difference between Tune 1 and Tune 3. So the changes I made, I've got almost 500 more RPM, 571 RPM, and it was still tickling it at 0.8. So yeah, right there. So it was going over 3,000. And what I did is I have a bunch of data on good drive shaft curves. So I went ahead and put those in and made a new curve for my next race with increments at a tenth, quarter, a half, 0.75, 1, and those are normal increments that people look at. So I haven't messed with traction control in a long time, so stand by. It's just a little bit of a learning curve again, but if the track surface was good, I would have just shut it off. So I am going over and looking at good data that I have and comparing it and seeing where we were early. And I also forgot, I turned the shift point way down. So another thing I did to manage power, since the surface wasn't that good, before I had this, at 82. And I believe in the comparison, I dropped it down to like 7,400. So it also had like 1,200 fallback at the shift. So the converter's probably really close, but we'll see. It'll pick up more when I rev it. And even that's low. So it's kind of all I got for the data. Hopefully I can make this a good video for you guys. Yeah, so that's all I got for the data side of this. And I'm just going through and inputting all the air temps and my ET and stuff into my data log in Holly. Getting organized for the season, making sure I got good notes, and yeah, looking up old drive shaft numbers and seeing if I can come up with a good way to do this. I do think that Pro 600 conversion is going to be the hot ticket to get rid of it loading up and smooth out that drive shaft curve, but we won't know till we do that. Well, thanks for following along, and I hope you guys enjoy this.